Welcome to the Maximum Edge Sports Wagering Show. My name is John Santucci. Call me Tooch. I got a couple guys here to help us break down Super Bowl. We're talking a little college hoops. Brian Edwards and Anthony from Pounded Sports, my partner in crime. Brian, welcome back. We had you last time. We were talking a little NFL playoffs. And Anthony, you and I, little rough night last night. Some panic at the disco.
Yeah, well, can't win every day, man. What are you gonna do?
Can't win every day, but we were red hot for like 3 days in a row, man. I was just like dancing.
12 out of the last 14 days. 12 out of the last 14 days.
Yeah,
red hot.
So. Red hot. Brian, red hot over where you're at too.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. Glad to be back. I'm doing pretty good. I'm on here, let me pull it up. It's since January 29th in college. I got it right here. 1 second. It is a 14-5 run since January 29th in college, 73.7% plus 8.9 units. I think I had a money line or two in there to give it a little extra units there. Looking forward to the Super Bowl. What you guys want to talk about first?
What do you say, Anthony? Little Super Bowl. All right.
Yeah, let's do the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, I'm kind of tired of betting against the Bengals. three times in a row, they made me regret betting against them. They just seem to come back. I mean, twice against Kansas City, once during the regular season and once, in the AFC Championship, where, man, we thought we were coasting, first half again. And then second half, beware the Bengals defense clamping down. Underrated defense, Brian. I heard you might be on the Bengals. How do you feel about the side? Bengals plus 4.5.
Yeah, I'm on the Bengals, man. I'm just a huge believer in Joe Burrow. Now, I was not on the Bengals. I forget it when we spoke. I think it was ahead of the Titans Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. And I had the Titans, and then I told myself, "You're one of the biggest Joe Burrow fans on this planet. Do not ever go against him again." And I'm not saying I won't ever go against him, especially if he's a heavy favorite or something. But I got to go with my man Joey B. He's just getting it done, and he's getting it done with a makeshift offensive line. And we saw those huge scrambles. I don't know that both of them were in overtime, but I want to say one of them was. He had some two late clutch scrambles where he just saw the rush was coming and just took off. And he's a lot faster than people give him credit for. And Evan McPherson, my Gator, is just crushing it. And, they got good receivers. Mixon's good. The O-line is obviously a weakness, and I worry about that because the Rams are so stout on the D-line. But, hopefully they can do some things scheme-wise and Burrow's brain and taking off and running if he needs to. And then there's the stat of the Bengals as underdogs 11 times now, 8-3 against the spread with 7 outright wins. And I'm going to go with the Bengals.
I smell a prop coming with the Joe Burrow rushing yardage, which I like as well. I think I saw it at 11.5. Man, one scramble, and that I think they might have raised it since then. But I've been eyeballing that prop myself. Both these teams really good against the run. Rams number 6 versus the run, and Bengals right there, number 5. So I expect a lot of passing as both these teams clamp down on the run. Anthony, do you expect a lot of air yards, maybe a lot of points?
So I am still back and forth. So as of right now, I'm leaning Bengals plus 4, thinking the Rams win though, because 4 points still a lot. Even if it goes to 4.5, 4, you basically get to win by a touchdown, 6 or 7 points at minimum. Very rare does a game land on 5, so you've got to win by a touchdown. So Bengals taking the points is very, very intriguing. But then I think about it. The Bengals' offensive line is struggling. They are struggling. Burrow's still running for his life. He had nine sacks when he played Tennessee. Now he's playing the Rams defensive line. I mean, Aaron Donald's going to be eating him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, that's the only thing that scares me. How are the Bengals going to score? Because you got Jalen Ramsey going to probably cover Jamar Chase. I mean, even though luckily they got some studs in receiver, so it's not like a Jamar Chase or bust. Joe Mixon, I don't know if he's going to be able to run the ball effectively. The number six Russian defense in the league we talked about before the show, and it's very, very tough. But right now I'm leaning. Nothing's official. I haven't placed my bet in. I haven't said anything. I'm leaning Bengals +4, but I do think the Rams win the Super Bowl overall.
All right. Well, the total's sitting at 48.5. Brian, any thoughts on the total? I kind of like the over, but I know these are two good defenses. I just think they'll be forced to pass. The first half under I like, but maybe over for the full game.
Yeah, I have no feel for the total whatsoever. In fact, my only thoughts on the total are that if you like the over, I think you should probably bet it now because you know how the square money comes in late on the Super Bowl, and it's going to be, people just wanting to bet the over and root for touchdowns and not field goals. So I would think if you like the over, I doubt it'll go any lower. I'd go ahead and get it now, but I have no feel for it at all. And I like to have, a kind of a bankroll strategy that I always use with the Super Bowl or the national title game is I like to have one big bet. And for me, that's going to be the Bengals. Now I'm going to do some props, but those are going to be like, for your listeners that have like whatever, a $500 bankroll for this game, I would have one pick that's $400 and you sink or swim with that. You can lose every single prop you want. You can do $5 $20 props or $10 props, whatever you want to do, and you can lose every single one of them as long as you hit your big bet. And so therefore I don't really like to get, I like to either like the side or the total usually in the Super Bowl. And so when I decide I like a side like I do with the Bengals, I don't even want to try to figure out the total. So, and I'll just get out of the way a couple of props that I like, and you guys hit on them. Not only the Burrow over 11.5 rushing yards, how about 2.5 attempts? Now I know you got to get across the line of scrimmage for it to count as an attempt, but I think he'll be running for his life at times, and I think he'll definitely do that 3 times. And then I like Evan McPherson over 1.5 field goals made. I mean, he's 4 for 4 in all 3 games of the postseason, and his points are 7.5, over 7.5. Now I like to do a bet, a couple of the fun ones that with long odds, like player to score the first touchdown and player to get MVP. I know it's a long shot and the kickers never won it, but in that Titans-Bengals game and maybe even last or KC-Cincy, I think McPherson would have won it. And now I've seen different odds. I've seen him 150 to 1 at DraftKings to win MVP. That's the kind of odds I like right there. As for the first touchdown, either Odell Beckham at 9 to 1 or Van Jefferson at 18 to 1 are kind of ones that stood out to me. So those are kind of some props, but again, like for money management purposes, those are just for giggles, amount wise, and then I'll be on the Bengals pretty heavy.
Last year I had Gronk for first touchdown, and that hit.
That hit, right?
Yeah.
What was that, like 9 or 10 to 1?
It was like, good gracious,
at least 8, right?
It's something like that. Yeah. I think 7 or 8 to 1. Yeah. Anthony, any props in mind?
I don't know, that McPherson field goal prop is very, very intriguing. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm loving it just thinking about it. The dude hits 2-3 field goals a game, no matter what type of game it is. I mean, so that's a very, very solid prop.
But when you have a kicker that
I was
the coach relies on his kicker like, automatic. So he gives him all the
He can
chances.
kick
Yeah.
55, 57. He can kick it deep. So, I mean, it gives him more
Yeah.
availability to kick the field goal. But I don't know honestly, I haven't really looked at the props. I haven't done anything with the Super Bowl yet, but it's so focused on college basketball. But
Yep.
what I do want to look at is how many sacks for the Rams defense. I'm curious what that number is. Maybe 2,
I'm
1.5.
not sure.
That's what I'm thinking of.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? You were thinking 4.5?
I
I'm
was
asking.
thinking maybe 2, 2.5. Maybe 2.5. I don't know.
You would like that. You
I
would
can
like
look
that
at it.
over, I'm sure.
Oh, of course. I'll
Right?
look at it. I'll look for it while you were doing the show. But that's something that just thinking about that. I mean, the Rams defense, they're going to get at least 3 to 4 sacks at minimum. That's something I always like to look at during Super Bowl is a sack prop. I had that last year versus Tom Brady, and I don't think it went really well.
Hey, fellas, I just looked up McPherson's player page. He's gone over 1.5 field goals made in 9 of the last 10 games. The only one he didn't was when they got smashed by the Chargers, and he's still 1 of 1. But 9 of the last 10 games, he's had over 1. How is that number so low?
That is
Weird.
so low. Even the Rams kicker, Gay, over 1.5 minus 125. You can take over 2.5 plus 250.
Oh,
there's a lot of value.
Whoa, I like that better.
Yeah. So there's a lot of value in the field goal props. Now that you mention it, we just gotta. There's 469 props for the Super Bowl. It's really, really hard to go through each one and be like, yes.
I have no desire.
Probably about 200 of them, maybe 250. You just like, okay, next. But there's a lot of great, good props. You just got to find it. And I remember here's a little tip. I know, Ryan, you probably know. If you want to bet on the national anthem, wait till they rehearse it the day before the Super Bowl. Because there's always one asshole that's recording it outside the stadium that has the time. And that's what happened at Raymond James last year. And that was probably the easiest top of the Super Bowl last year. So that's one tip.
Yeah, I've always gotten phone calls of people telling me about that and take this or that. And I'm like, never mind. It sounds like something will go different.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right. What do you say we talk a little college basketball before we give out a free play? Any thoughts from last night and weekend college basketball? What surprised you? Anything over the weekend, Brian?
Oh, real quick. So the prop for the Super Bowl, total sacks between both teams is over 5.5 minus 125.
Oh, for both teams together.
For both teams. That's not too bad.
A full game, both total sacks, both teams full game.
Right.
Stafford usually gets about 2 sacks a game. And it's something you really got to think about. 6 sacks total.
Speaking of Stafford, Matt Stafford probably the biggest factor in whether or not the Rams win or lose. Just the amount of interceptions that he threw throughout the season and the playoffs. That's what causes me a little bit of hesitation with the Rams. And Joe Burrow seemingly not feeling a lot of the pressure. So I'm still undecided. My heart says take the Bengals. And then past experience says take the Bengals. But, man, the Rams are built to win right now. Bengals probably a year ahead of schedule, probably beginning of the season, didn't expect to find themselves in the Super Bowl. They were probably, let's just get to the playoffs and then, a run of events. And here they are.
College
Let's,
basketball. Let's do it.
let's transition to some college hoops. And Brian, I know it's early, but do you have any teams you like? You think you'll see in the Final Four?
I like how Kentucky's starting to play, man. I mean, that's another really solid win.
I really like them tonight too.
Yeah, and really their only loss was at Auburn, and I don't know they lose that game if Ty Washington doesn't sprain his ankle. So, yeah, I mean that was a solid win at Bama. I mean they held Bama to 55. I'm pretty sure Bama averages in the 80s, and and another thing from this past weekend that I'll kind of take into a angle for tonight is I think Auburn's just starving to get beat on the road. You know, they only win by 1 at Mizzou, and then
what did I say today, Anthony?
Yeah, and so they're very lucky to win.
Due for a road loss.
Yeah, very lucky to win. And look, it'll probably be good for them in the long run. And I think it happens tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas runs them out of there because Bud Walton, that fan base hadn't had a ton to be excited about the last 20 years. And that place, when Nolan had it rolling, man, that was one of the toughest places in the country to play. And that place is going to be rocking tonight. I like Arkansas to win outright. I mean, I got them at 2.5 early this morning, but whatever. I think it's like 1 or 1.5 now, but I think they went outright. Boy, Duke really put it on North Carolina on Saturday night, but then they fall victim to that vintage letdown, and I'm so mad at myself for not taking Virginia last night. I hadn't really seen Virginia the last few weeks, and they were struggling so bad earlier in the year that I just couldn't do it.
They still
but I
were.
should have.
Going into that Duke game, they're overrated. That Duke game, the last 10 meetings, neither team has beaten each other by more than 10 points. That's just a random fact.
You're talking about Duke UNC until the other night?
Oh, Duke UNC. I thought Duke and Virginia.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought that you were talking Duke UNC. My fault.
Oh, no, Virginia. Virginia's overrated. That's my opinion. They're overrated. They don't even deserve to be in a tournament. But for them to beat Duke, I think it was more Duke just had a bad game more than Virginia played well. Duke had many, many opportunities that put them away at the end of the game, and they couldn't do it. 2 costly turnovers, including the ball in bounds, stolen, and one. It was just ridiculous.
Okay, I'll be out in about 5 minutes, okay? Close that door.
I'll jump in here with another pick since a couple of these games are about to tip in like 7 or 8 minutes. I like Sparty tonight, -4 against Wisconsin. Unfortunately, I had Wisconsin against Sparty like 3 weeks ago, and that was in Madison, and Sparty just controlled that game from start to finish. And we get Sparty in bounce back mode. They got run out of the rack the other night, but Rutgers has been good at home all year. And, even though they just went down Saturday, that was on the road. Michigan State is 9-1 at home, 7 of those wins by 12 or more, 8 of those wins by 9 or more, and they won by 12 at Wisconsin. So, and Wisconsin's mired in an 0-5 against the spread slump. So I think Michigan State bounces back tonight. And I'll throw one off the beaten path, and it's way off the beaten path. King Rice actually had a good Monmouth team about 4 or 5 years ago. He had a great point guard in Justin Robinson, but they haven't been very good lately. But their unders have been incredible here lately, and I've started to get on them here the last couple of weeks. The under is on a 15-3 run for Monmouth, and I played under 134 in their game against Marist. That'll be tipping in about 7 or 8 minutes. I'll give you one more. I'm on over 132, or actually, I think it might be up to 133 for LSU A&M. The over's hitting 5 straight for A&M and is on a 16-5 run in its last 21 games. And LSU was a big over team last year. They've been a huge under team this year, but their defense, or like their whole team, with Xavier Pinson's injury here lately, they've just been struggling. And so now they've had the over cash in 4 straight, and their defense has given up 75, 76, and 77 last 3 times out. So there's a few that are about to tip in 5-10 minutes.
I like it.
All right. I'll tell you, Monmouth got embarrassed by Marist the last time.
Yeah, they did.
84-48 loss at Marist.
Biggest in school history. Yeah.
They
Biggest in
got to
school
think
history.
a little revenge in the back
Right?
of their minds tonight. I like Monmouth tonight -7.5. In a revenge game. Kind of, I wouldn't be surprised to see A&M win outright at home tonight.
Yeah, LSU's lost 6 of 7. I don't know if Penson's going to play tonight. Actually, I'll look that up. It's probably available at this point. 5 minutes for tip.
Right. And, back to Auburn and Arkansas. Arkansas has got the athletes to compete with
Sure.
the length and the athletes to compete with Auburn. Auburn's got a young, some young kids on the team, in the backcourt. Jasper, he's kind of like the veteran leader back there, and having him, calm down these the younger kids. They have been, probably, reading the press clippings and thinking we don't have to really play that hard versus Missouri, or, we don't really have to play that hard versus Georgia, And when these teams come looking to unseat the number one team, that Auburn finds themselves in a bit of a battle. Tonight, I think Auburn will be ready for Arkansas, but like you, I would not be surprised if the Razorbacks, get a victory and that, fans come out on the court after this one.
Yeah, I see Zep Jasper for Auburn has been ruled out tonight.
Okay.
But it looks like Taz Sherman is starting for West Virginia after missing the last game. It looks like Xavier Penson's in the starting lineup for LSU.
All right.
But that's good for LSU's
Good to see.
offense in terms of me having the over.
Right. Let's see. We're watching recently Nevada's, stars, a couple guys out like Warren Washington, and tonight they're playing Colorado State. That also bears watching. Nevada had a pretty good game last time before
Sunday against San Diego State. I got one of the luckiest under winners of my life. It was looking so over the whole game, and then it could have gone under at the end if there was any fouls, and I got really lucky to get that under 130. So is Sherfield back for Nevada tonight?
That's what I was saying. I'll have to
I'm
check
not
the
sure.
status about Washington and Sherfield. But, Nevada, are they starting to turn the corner? Steve Alford's squad kind of,
They're still
expectations were high.
Well, they were without two double-figure scorers.
Right.
Let's see if Sherfield gets back and he's healthy. He's their best player by far. So.
Right, and Washington's got the size, in the middle.
We got a question.
Interior defense.
We got a question. Someone just texted me a question for the show. Wyoming, why are they only -1 at home versus
great
Utah
question.
State? So you guys want to talk, and I'll follow up.
Well, they're still undefeated at home, so I get the question. My buddy Matt Humans with VEASAN, I heard him on Follow the Money this morning, and he's been back in Wyoming a lot, but he said he's going against them now because this is like 5 big games in a row.
That's what I was going to say. They've been playing every other night for 10 nights in a row.
Yes, I still lean Wyoming, but I respect Matt, and he was the beat writer for UNLV for the Las Vegas Review-Journal for a long time, so he knows way more about Mountain West than I do. So I'm gonna leave it alone and heed his warning. Actually, he said he was going to be on the other side tonight.
Yeah, and
so the public is all over Wyoming. We all know that. They're undefeated at home. But when is this streak, this play, there's so many games going to catch up with them? Utah State, they are playing the best basketball of the season. They got their players back. But then when I think about it, who they really played? Their best a win was at home for San Diego State 5 games ago, 6 games ago. They after that, they beat at Nevada, destroyed Nevada. Nevada, again, shorthanded. They were at home versus Air Force, destroyed them. San Jose State destroyed them. And at home versus UNLV, they have destroyed everybody in their path, but these are weak teams, except for UNLV, but UNLV was missing a player. This is a very, very tough game. This is one of those games where if you're up late at night or whatever it is, and you got to have some action because we're all degenerates in some way, I mean, my heart says Utah State, but I want to take Wyoming. So the public is all over Wyoming. If I had to shoot gun to my head, Utah State.
It might be one to just look to play an end game. Hopefully, one team gets off to a big lead over the other and come back the other way, and maybe you can get one of them as a 6 or 7 point underdog. Because I think it'll be
there you go, like Arizona last night.
Game. I really
Arizona fell behind early. Live bet Arizona last night.
But Utah State, they might surprise people. They might beat them by 5 to 10 points. I mean, Utah State is getting no respect at all whatsoever. Everybody thinks that Utah State's because of their record. It's nothing sexy, but it's because they were hurt majority of the season, COVID issues, and now they're in conference play. I mean, they're destroying everybody in their path. But this is definitely one of the hardest teams they're playing all year.
They want you to take Wyoming minus 1.5 at home with that home record. The Wyoming undefeated at home.
That's correct.
10-0 at home. They want you to take Wyoming. The books are dangling the cheese, Brian.
It's been a good year for the Mountain West, man. I feel like it's been a minute since they've had they're definitely going to get 4 teams in probably, right? And I feel like there's is there a 5th that's kind of in the mix? Let me see here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, you got Utah State. I mean, Fresno's probably on the fringe of out, and probably Colorado State too. But I mean, I think Wyoming, Boise State, and Utah State are probably I don't know if Utah State's in, but I mean, KenPom, they're all top 50, or Colorado State's 52.
That's I mean, Utah State needs this game, don't they, for their chances to make the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all kind of on
at least for at large.
Yeah, they all need
it at this point.
They all still have work to do, but I mean, if the season ended today, then maybe 3 of them are in there, and 5 of them are in the conversation.
Right. Speaking of degenerate plays, last night, Northern Colorado had to play that one to catch up after the losses, Duke. But Northern Colorado, man, they could really shoot. I tell you, I was feeling great. They were up to like 26-10 in the first half, and then it went down to 36-10. I'm like feeling great. That was 36-34. I felt a little worse, and they end up winning by like 20 something at the end, but can really shoot. Northern Colorado don't play a lot of defense, but got some real shooters. All right, what do you say we give away a free play, Anthony?
Let's do it.
All right, 1 second. Here we go. All right. Getting an early jump on those props with Brian Edwards here on the Maximum Edge Sports Wagering Show. Free play, Joe Burrow rushing yards over 11.5 prop bet, and Evan McPherson over 1.5 field goals made. I'll personally be playing these. I really like these plays. So
I like that McPherson one. I'm definitely playing that one. There's no doubt about it. College basketball free play. I didn't get a chance to type it in, but my free play today is UCF minus 1.5. I think they take care of business at home. That Wyoming, Utah State is just a lean Utah State, but UCF minus 1.5 is my free play today. I love this game, but it's going to be a great game overall.
Very nice. We got some free plays from Brian Edwards today. If you followed me on Twitter, I gave away Kansas City minus 2.5 versus St. Thomas, Minnesota. St. Thomas making the jump from Division III to Division I. Brian, got to think the Kansas City Roos are gonna figure out the St. Thomas and solve that cover by 2.5. So,
hey fellas, I'm just seeing some breaking news on regarding the Utah State game.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Miller, averaging 8.8 points per game, is out, and so is Sean Bairstow, 10.3 points per game. So the Aggies are going to be down a couple of guys tonight.
Wow.
That was 3 minutes ago. John Rothstein tweeted that. So
checking the line now. Hold on.
yeah, let's see if that impacted the line
Jesus.
there.
Taking Wyoming.
Yeah, exactly. I think I will take Wyoming. It looks
I'm on
like
Wyoming.
You had Wyoming already, I think, right, Anthony?
I did early this morning before I did everything. It's one of those things I like it, and I put it in. It's like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I hate doing that.
All right. Well, I want to thank our guest, Brian Edwards, tonight. And we'll have you back, of course. Coming up,
Yeah,
we got
thank you
lots
for
of
coming,
college
Brian.
basketball action. March Madness right around the corner. We'll get you all situated with Brian and Anthony. Thanks again, Anthony, for sidecar here. And we will see you next time. Maximum Edge Sports Wagering Show. Good night.
Second string, and I'm the team captain. He's the preview, and I'm the main attraction. Unstoppable.